What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Blazers Uprise post-game show presented by Sleeper. Today, your Portland Trailblazers lose another close game as they fall to the Toronto Raptors, 121 to 118. The Blazers fell behind in the third quarter, fought back, almost brought it all the way back, almost got a come-from-behind win against a good Eastern Conference opponent, but behind some questionable small ball and a questionable call, the Blazers lose another game. Denny Avdia continues to play like a superstar, even on nights where his shot isn't falling. Tamani Kamara, for the second game in a row, shoots the ball well and continues to break out of his shooting slump, which is nice to see. And Shaedon Sharpe has 23 off the bench as he comes back from injury. But it's all in another loss. We're going to break it down all for you guys. Tonight is a call-in night. Eric's actually going to be holding it down solo for about 30 minutes here. So if you want to call in at the start of the stream, he'll be running the call-ins and he'll be able to take your calls. And I won't be here. So definitely encouraged to call in, and I will rejoin the show in a bit. Eric, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, I'm pretty good. Excited to talk about another Blazer loss.
It's starting to feel like previous years, but also it feels completely different from previous years. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes total sense to me.
Does it?
Yeah, I mean, we got this guy the last three games is averaging a 30-point triple-double, and we've lost all three games. So, it's back to the we can't win with Dame years, But Dame never got, averaged a triple-double over three games, I don't believe. So Denny Avdia continues to play freaking amazing basketball, and he's getting to the line at a higher rate than anybody in the league, which is great for us. I know other fans might be a little bit annoyed by the free throws, but I'm annoyed that this team can't find a way to win close games. They fought from behind and they made it close, so it's a little different than being in a close game the entire fourth or losing a lead, but they're right there. They're not losing games by 40 or 50 like we've seen in previous years. They're competitive a lot of nights, and they just can't figure out ways to get wins, and it's pretty frustrating.
So, yeah. We're just watching this. I'm rewatching the last couple minutes of the game, and I'm to the point where they're reviewing the Shaedon Sharpe foul.
Yeah.
Where he gets fouled. Yeah. Yep.
Gotta love NBA refs, man.
I was initially listening to this on the radio, and Travis Demers sounded like Brian Wheeler for a minute. He was very emotional.
I love that, man.
Sounded like he was crying after the game a little bit.
Hey, man, I respect
nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, it felt like he was very emotional after this game.
Yeah, it sucks getting these close losses, and it sucks when there's questionable calls. I listened to a little bit of it on the radio as well, and it sounded like he wanted to go fight the refs over a call, which I have wanted to fight the refs probably 10 separate times this season. So, anyway.
I've never seen him or heard him that frustrated, though. Like, he even said, I'm just frustrated. This team has been in a lot of close games, and it's starting to weigh on me, and I was like, wow.
He's one of us. He's one of us. But yeah, we'll break it all down. I'm going to get out of here, but I know our guy Muvsy, he's a Raptors fan, but he helps out the channel. He helped me out with the bottom ticker today. He made the intro that I can't play because my computer sucks, and we lose every game, so it's whatever. But yeah, I know he wants to hop on the call in and talk about this game. So I'm going to get out of here. Eric, feel free to run the call-ins. If you call in, just don't curse and try not to ramble for more than 3 minutes. That's my job, okay? I'm the one who's supposed to ramble for more than 3 minutes, all right? All jokes aside, appreciate you guys tuning in despite the loss on another post-game show, and I will be back. Good luck, Eric, containing Muvsy. Have fun.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the post-game show. Good to have you all here. I don't know if I can fix that on my nope. He left a little bit of black along the top. Oh well, nothing I can do about that. Excited to have you all here to break down this game. To me, there's several talking points. One, This is just really frustrating for me when they end quarters um, poorly. So in the first half, second quarter, the Blazers tie the game at 58 behind a Denny 3-point shot. And the Raptors had the ball. There's under a minute left. And somehow we're down 65 to 59 at halftime. And so it's just carelessness. It's just they lose focus for a while. And it just comes back to hurt them because the Blazers, Tamani gets an offensive foul drawn with I don't know why we're driving with 11 seconds left on the clock. And so we just went too early. And then the possession before we blew the 2-for-1 by shooting it too early. And Tamani gets called for an illegal screen, and then he gets with 0.1 seconds left, he gets a foul to end the half. So they get free throws out of it. But in a tie game, you shouldn't be going down 6 points into the locker room when there's less than a minute left, especially when you get the ball and have a chance to control the clock, both in the 2-for-1 situation and there would have been a couple seconds left if they ran out the time properly on their last possession, but they of course did not do that. But anyways, so that is something that they desperately need to clean up, because you can't keep putting yourself into little holes like that by just a little bit of carelessness. And then the lack of transition defense in the third quarter, in particular, when the Raptors kind of came out and put this game into a desperate situation for the Blazers, where they found themselves down 15 to 16 points most of that quarter. It's just, there were multiple plays where Sharp drives, turns the ball over, falls on his butt, is just sitting there complaining. Denny, 2 out of the 3 plays in a row, drives. Now, maybe he gets fouled on those. He probably should have gone to the line more, but is on the ground complaining. Raptors push it the other way. We know that the Raptors are, I think they're first in the NBA in fast break points. If not, they're way up there. So they're a really good fast break team. And so there was a stretch where it was 3 possessions between Sharp and Denny where they fell onto the ground, argued a call, just sat there for a minute or a few seconds. And by that time, it's too late to get back on defense. Raptors pass the ball around, find the open guy, and get an easy basket. And it's really hard to make up for that kind of lack of effort, or that kind of carelessness, both with the turnovers and then magnifying it by not hustling back on defense. So unfortunately, I think this comeback, they had to use a lot of energy to come back in this one as well. They have to play Cleveland tomorrow night. So it's just a tough situation to do that and then expect to always come back or whatever. So that was another thing. I think that the effort in the third quarter, they just came out a little flat from halftime, and you can't do that against a scrappy team like Toronto, who plays kind of like how the style ultimately the Blazers want to play, but haven't really done it a ton so far this year. So those two things, the poor execution, end of quarters in late game situations and things like that, and then the arguing with the refs or not hustling back on defense against a good transition team. And then the third thing I want to mention is the rotations. First quarter and third quarter, Splitter decides to sub out Denny and Tamani together. And we start the fourth quarter with a lineup that has Chris Murray, Ryan Rupert, and City Sissoko all out there together. And I'm sorry, but Thiago needs to do this. We've talked about this multiple times. You have to find a way to stagger those guys. You cannot sub both of them out at the same time. Why are we subbing our two forwards out together and not making it so 2 out of the 3 between Grant, Denny, and Tamani are in the game at all times? You can do that. You can sub and still have them play the same amount of minutes. So him doing that both in the first half and the second half was really bugged me because, like I said, I understand he's kind of shorthanded right now, or really shorthanded right now. You know, we have several rotation players out, so you have to try and do something to get our starters a little bit of rest. But I don't think Thiago's doing the greatest job of rotating them in a way where we don't have several minute stretches where we have 3 like basically G League players on the court at the same time. And I think that's a huge issue. And then, you know, even if Rob Williams, if Rob or Klingon is in the game with that lineup and you have Grant or someone out there, I mean, that basically, because Rob Will and Klingon right now are just like clean up around the hoop guys, screen setters and stuff like that. So you're basically letting the other team only have to guard one player. And that's Jeremy Grant in those situations if both Denny and Tamani are on the bench. So I feel like he's getting a little too comfortable subbing too many good players out at the same time. We need to find a way to change that a little bit. And then the decision to go small the last 9 minutes of the fourth quarter, I think really hurt us in this game as well. It's just, you know, Portal comes back in. I think it was like 3 or 4 minutes left. And, you know, he had a easy shot with some deep post position on a smaller guy, got to the foul line and stuff like that. So I think, you know, City Sissoko, I mean, obviously, like I said, he's got to play a little bit of time right now with how it is, and he's been in the starting lineup and all that kind of stuff. But to play him 9 or 10 minutes in the fourth quarter and to not play your bigs more than a couple minutes, I felt like these kind of games we need to win with size. And you know, I didn't think Klingon played that bad. He had some nice offensive rebounds and stuff. And the other huge issue plaguing this Blazers team is rebounding. And so to go small, I think, just kind of exasperates that. So we're in a situation where there's all these things going against them each night, and we're still seeing these like really good performances. You know, Tamani finally comes alive from 3, at least in the first quarter. Sharp in the first half. I think he had 15 in the first half. He was hitting his shots, looked explosive with some of his dunks and rim opportunities. And so Denny, you know, he had a bad first half, but you know, has a ton of assists and ends up scoring 25 or 26, I think he finished with. So pretty good scoring output in the second half for him. He ends up with 25 on, you know, 6 of 15 shooting. So yeah, the Blazers end up only losing the rebound battle by 4. I feel like they did do a better job on the defensive rebounding in the second half. But in the first half, I think Toronto had like 9 offensive rebounds at halftime, which isn't good. But the fast break points, 25-10. So Blazers want to play fast and get dominated in an up-tempo game. So that's going to come back to haunt you. And then lastly, I haven't mentioned this yet. We talked a lot about individual free throws being an issue. And like I said before, as long as you're a decent free throw shooter overall, I'm not going to be too harsh if you miss a free throw in like a clutch situation or something, because ultimately that's not what loses you the game, that one free throw or whatever. But when you miss 11 free throws as a team, 21 of 32, and you lose by 3 points, I mean, that's glaring, right? Denny misses 5 free throws. He was 10 of 15 from the line. So he's still getting to the line a ton, but misses them. In the fourth quarter, Tamani missed both free throws on one of his opportunities. He couldn't have shot well from the free throw line this game. Yeah, 1 of 4. He split one in the first half. Jeremy, who's usually pretty dependable, was 2 for 4. Klingman made all 3 of his. Sharp was 5 of 6. It's just, you got to make your free throws, right? So, unfortunately for them, just didn't do it. And this also was a game that shows it shows exactly what the problems with the Blazers are. And that's because they come out and they shoot crazy in the first quarter. Like, they're hitting everything, right? So they're hitting shots. It's looking really good. It's looking like we're going to be right in this game and possibly be in a position to win it. All our shots are going down. Tamani hits 4 threes, and by the time he subs out towards the end of the first quarter, he's 5 of 7 from the field and has 14 points in the first quarter. And then finishes with 21, I think. So he didn't do much outside of that quarter. And then Sharp, like I mentioned, had 15 in the first half, only finishes with 23. So not as much scoring output in the second half for him either. Kind of flipped between those two and Denny. Denny didn't do much in the first half scoring wise, but then scores a ton in the second half. But back to my point, when you need crazy good shooting like that to like get ahead, it could also go the other way really quickly. So the Blazers go ice cold in that second quarter. The Raptors go on a 14-1 run, I think it was. It might even been worse than that. And all of a sudden the lead we built is gone, and the Raptors are up like 6-8. And it's like, what the heck? Where did our lead go, right? So the Blazers shot 71% from the field in the first quarter and ended up, I believe, losing after one, right? They were up 2. They're up 39-37. So yeah, shooting 71%. You have like one of your best offensive outputs from Sharp comes in the game, scores a bunch. Like I said, Tamani was on fire. Chris hit a 3, I think, in the first quarter. And so things are going well, and you're still only up 2 points. You kind of, because your defense couldn't get a rebound, gave up way too many offensive rebounds. And then, as Marv says, the turnovers, I think they had, actually, she wrote this down. Let me see how many turnovers they had. It was either 12 or 14, I think, turnovers at halftime, which is ridiculous. Yeah, 12 turnovers at halftime. So 12 turnovers. You give up 9 offensive rebounds. You give up 22 points off those 12 turnovers. And so they're probably lucky to only be down 6 at halftime, despite being tied with a minute left, like I said. But all those things are just combination of what's wrong. Like all those things, rebounding, rotations are weird. Turnovers come back to haunt them again. Not getting back in transition defense, not creating enough transition opportunities themselves. Because we forced 10 turnovers in the first half, but only scored 11 points on them. So that means we're not turning those turnovers into a ton of opportunities. So, and then missed free throws. Yeah, all that adds up to why the Blazers are losing these games, in my opinion. Does anyone have anything to add to that? Yeah. It says, am I the only one to think the Blazers are better without Sharp? I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I mean, tonight he is 9 of 18 from the field. And he got beat a few times on defense there in the fourth quarter, but so did everyone else. Even Tamani, Denny, guys who should be Grant, everyone that was playing got beat at some point or fell asleep on a back door or got their guy went and got an offensive rebound or something during this game. So I don't know. I don't think Sharp is a problem, especially when he plays like tonight. I mean, he was 9 of 18 from the field. Maybe he's not getting to the foul line as much as other people, but he got the line 6 times tonight. He shoots 3 threes, misses all of them. His 3-point shot is just completely gone away. So maybe that's an issue, but I think especially right now the Blazers need him out there, and actually wonder if him coming off the bench and not playing with the starters is maybe the problem. I don't know, but I don't think I wouldn't say he's like, I get what people are saying, but I mean, did you see Denny's numbers last game? Did you see his numbers this game? I mean, that's what I'm seeing when people make that case that Sharp's hurting the team, is that it takes away touches from Denny. But I don't know. I look at what Denny's doing in these games still, and I don't think Sharp's affecting that at all in a negative way. So I don't know. And Denny had a couple really nice assists too. I think they were on back-to-back plays even, where he hit Sharp cutting for a lay-in and then had the lob on the transition to him. So maybe they can explore that a little more. Sharp can cut a little more when Denny's, occupying all the attention of the other team's defense. That might be something that they can exploit moving forward. But yeah, I really don't think Sharp is the issue. I mean, I think it's more just they're trying everything they can to hold this team together with the few good players they have right now. And I think it's more of a case of we just need more actual NBA players back on the healthy, active roster. I don't see how Sharp is the problem, man. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear why maybe expand on that a little more. Why you think that way? And then, I mean, it's still a case where you have non-NBA shooters shooting a lot of threes. I did see a thing today where the Blazers, it was like a. Let me actually find it real quick. Let me see if anyone's in Discord first. No one's in. Once again, if you want to come talk to me while Tori's gone, just join the Discord and ask to speak. There's a section called Call In. Would love to hear from you. If you want to come talk on the air with me. I forgot what I was going to look up. Therese says the first quarter looked so good. It did offensively, but we still gave up 37 points and only had a 2-point lead. So all that hard work to all those made shots to get that going. And was 4 knots. You got Caleb Love 2 for 6 in this game, 1 of 5 from 3. Made his only lay-in, but 1 for 5 from 3. Only plays 12 minutes, gets 6 shots up. So it's pretty typical. Chris hit that one in the first half, goes 1 for 3 overall. City 1 for 4. Sharp's not hitting his threes either, which is really hurting his overall numbers. Like if he could either hit a 3 or just stop taking them all together, he would look more efficient too. And maybe that's where he gets some more passes going. Man. I feel like the Blazers could have had this one. This is one other thing that I wrote down that I wanted to bring up. So the stupid zone. Can we just please eliminate the zone from just don't do it at all. Just do not play zone. It's ridiculous. Chat, make this make sense for me, okay? We go small, right? Last 9 minutes of the game, we go small, right? The whole point of going small is so you can switch picks and be versatile on defense to where you don't have to worry about the big, because that did happen a couple times in the game where the Raptors ran pick and roll and either Rob Will or Klingon was too far in drop and they got a good look off of it. And then the next possession they play zone, whatever. But you go small to eliminate that, right? Like, what am I missing here, chat? You go small so you can switch picks. You have all forwards in the game because you don't have any point guards right now, any small people other than Caleb Love. So everyone's pretty much the same size, same height, different levels of defense, I guess. But like the whole point of going small should be so that you don't have to play drop at all and you can just switch every pick and then they can't create any advantages off of screens, right? Why the heck would they play zone at all when they're small? I was just so frustrated watching them go into zone when when they had the small lineup in. It's like, what are you doing? like I get it sometimes. Every once in a while, play a zone. I saw someone say Klingon can't play in the zone. I disagree. I think it just the whole point of that would be to make sure he is always able to guard low instead of having to come out for screens. But I don't get why like don't play small if you're gonna play zone, and don't play zone if you're playing small. Like it's so simple. Like I just don't get it. So when I see stuff like sorry, I forgot who said this, but when I see like what is Tiago supposed to do? He's hasn't had any practice time. Well, how about if you run a small ball lineup, you do not play zone and you do not get stuck in situations where the other team can use their size because and you're not creating any advantages by being able to pressure the ball or switch or trap or anything like that. So I don't get it. And that's one thing. I mean, I know technically Bjorkgren's in charge of the defense or whatever, but ultimately it's got to fall on the head coach. So I don't understand that's really it's just a scheme thing. It's a game plan thing. That's not like a practice thing. I mean, you don't have to practice playing man-to-man defense versus zone. Zone actually requires more practice time. So if anything, if they're not having enough practice time to run zone, they shouldn't be running it as much. And then like someone just said in chat, the other thing that's tough about running a zone is we're not a good rebounding team. And if we're small, they're going to start crashing the boards because we're not finding a guy and boxing out. It's really tough to find a way to box out when you're struggling to rebound out of the zone. So I don't get it. The Blazers are way too talented, even with all these injuries. Their personnel is designed to have multiple perimeter defenders. And so this freaking zone is really bugging me, man. It's really bothering me. Like, why do you keep running it? Why, like a Niddler says, why can't we just switch everything and be a normal defense? It's a huge red flag to me that they're doing gimmicky stuff. So you start the season with this full court press, picking players up way higher than any team has ever picked up higher since they started tracking that data. Like it wasn't even close. And then we run this zone. Both of those to me are more like gimmicky things. And the Blazers should be good enough to play just regular straight up defense, especially in the half court. So Matt says, I don't see full court press as a gimmick. So it's not necessarily a gimmick if you don't do it all the time, but like, I feel like if you do it all the time, you will. Yeah. I feel like it is a gimmick if it is all the time, or like that's your identity. When you have good perimeter defenders, to me, you have to do that stuff if you have kind of lesser individual defenders, but they don't, I mean, obviously not right now, but they were running that with Drew Holiday when we still had Blake Wesley. Matisse was still in the lineup. You got Grant's an okay defender. We got, Denny's an okay defender normally. Tamani's supposed to be our best defender. Chris is supposed to be a good defender. It wears on opposing stars, says Matt. Okay, yeah, that worked out so well when like opposing stars were killing us every game. It got figured out, and they've had to go to other stuff now, and now it's a zone. I don't get why. Yeah. As Kirk says, I love playing zone in City League for laziness. Exactly. It's what you do when you don't want to work hard, basically. Yeah. I do feel like the zone does promote laziness. I do agree. The full court press doesn't, but I mean, every time we try to pressure, it seems like all it's doing is making our best defenders trail the ball and get blown by. I feel like the Blazers have the roster, the personnel, even with these injuries, to play at least average half-court defense in just a standard base regular defense. And I don't understand why like they can't figure that out. That's very troubling to me. Yeah. The letter says the problem is our good defenders aren't playing good defense, and that's partially true. I do think there's been a lot of disappointment in terms of individual defense this year, especially if you look at Tamani's individual defense compared to last year. But the issue is that because they just regressed on defense, or is it because the scheme they're playing is putting them in a position where they can't just straight up guard someone like they were last year? I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of maybe it's both. Yeah, they can both be right, I guess. But to me, it feels like they're always kind of a step behind no matter what they're doing. And to me, that seems like then they're not in the right positions. And then this is also what I don't get. So we saw them run small ball a lot. They've run small ball a lot all year. So when you're doing that, like I said earlier, the idea is to switch everything, right? So you're often going to be switching. If the other team has a big in the game, you're going to be switching to where maybe it's a unfavorable matchup to have someone not as big guarding a big guy, right? So my question is, what are you worried about then with the drop? So if the big is in the game, what's the difference if you're switching like Tamani onto a big man and having Klingon guard the guard? Isn't that the same as playing small, basically? I wish they would at least try to switch even with Klingon in the game and have if that makes sense. So have it to where he doesn't drop all the time. Like sometimes he comes out and just switches and guards the guard, because yes, you could get cooked by a guard, but how is that different than when we don't have a center in the game and they're still getting cooked on defense? So I don't know. I don't see enough traps. I don't see enough. And this is it's just baffling to me, because we know their whole system was kind of predicated on creating turnovers, and I think jumping screens and double teaming or trapping every once in a while, hedging the screen, show and recover. There's so many things you can do to throw the other team off or the ball handler off. And I'm not seeing enough of it for a team that's supposedly trying to create all this havoc and make the other teams uncomfortable. To me, this is always my problem with Stotts' defense. When you have drop all the time, it just the other team gets so comfortable. They know exactly where Clinton's going to be every time they come off the screen, right? And they know he's going to be 10 feet away. So all they have to do is either pull up if they're open or attack him and have the big roll. And so I don't get why you wouldn't occasionally throw a different look just to try and keep them honest so they can't get comfortable. And so I feel like right now we're just letting other teams do what they're good at. And Toronto tonight, it's get out in transition when you turn the ball over. And we turned the ball over a lot and played right into that. And so, yeah, it's been just another game of that. Bjorken being in charge of the D is really the only change from last year's promising D. Yeah, because was Roy Rogers in charge of the defense last year? Yeah. Yep. All right. So yep. Killtree says when they do small ball, I don't think I've seen them blitz a PNR once this season. Meanwhile, the Suns killed us with that in the game. Yep. Yep. Last year we lost 2 games by 60 points. Yep, we did. We got at least what our worst loss this year was 24 to Houston. Have we lost worse than that? I think that's our worst loss, right? Yep, that's the other thing Gregory mentions is those 3-pointers. We talked about this numerous times. Blazers are near the top in shot attempts. I think they were 5th last time I checked in shot attempts from 3. And they're bottom 5 in shooting percentage on those. And we all know that shooting a lot of threes, especially when they're bad shooters and they're bricking, the bricks are harder and the ball bounces further a lot of times. And if they get the rebound, the other team gets the rebound and they can push. And yeah. they can push in transition, and that happened a lot again tonight. Once, like when you're making shots in the first quarter, it's all good. You can get back and set your defense, but they still scored 37 on it, even with making all those shots. So, yeah. Yeah, now the Blazers have probably an even tougher game tomorrow night, even though Cleveland hasn't been really great this year. But yeah. And this is so everything we've kind of talked about in this conversation since Tori left, I feel like it's all stuff that's like correctable or like could get better. Like they could fix it if they wanted to. So that's where I get confused and kind of like down on this team because I don't see them really changing any of this stuff too much, like a little bit. They had a good stretch of rebounding, I guess. Maybe they were doing something there. But Like all this stuff seems like it's like easily tweakable to like kind of get them going again and winning some of these games instead of losing them. And it honestly feels like we played better than 8-13 at times this year. I feel like we should have a better record than 8-13 despite this. Yeah, so but it's like I don't know, we get guys back and stuff, but a lot of these issues are the style and the scheme. I don't think it's necessarily on the personnel. I think it says a lot that they're in some of these games, considering the personnel they have, for sure. And I do think some of it deserves to get a little bit of slack given, a little bit of leniency on that, just based on having to play so many players that aren't rotation players. But I don't know. I feel like they still have had some performances from Denny and Klingen's been playing well in the last couple weeks. I feel like they should have won more of these games, even despite everything that's against them right now. And that's, to me, a lot of these things are solvable issues, or at least areas that they can improve enough to win in a game they lose by 3 instead of losing in that. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just imagine when we get players back in the remix, get their lineup. That was the other weird thing. So the remix played tonight, and they had a promo this afternoon with it was basically promoting CD, Caleb and Javante Cook playing tonight for the remix. I was like, there's no way Sissoko and Love at least aren't going to be with the main team. So yeah, I don't know if they won tonight or not. I didn't see the score. Oh, I remember what I was going to do. I was going to look up that. So try to find that stat for you guys. If I can get it to load. Of course, I see a B-ball breakdown analyzing that foul on Chris Murray against SGA last game. That's the first thing I see. Maybe I'll wait till Tori gets back to find this, because no, it just came up on the feed. I clicked on the. All right, try to find it on my phone. Yeah, it was very interesting, and then like immediately, so I saw a stat like this, and I'm just like, it's another thing I'm baffled about. Like how do they not see the need for someone who can hit shots? Let me try to find it. Man, Tori's been gone a while. Long shower. Anyways, I guess no one wants to talk in Discord. Oh wait, there's Alex and Mubsy. How do I? Invite to speak.
What's up, Eric?
Hey,
I'll
what's
keep you
up,
some
Muggsy?
company, man, till Tori's back.
What's up, man?
It's a pretty
Hey,
long shower, eh? Yeah.
yeah.
I just
Uh,
chilling.
can people hear you in chat? Let me just make sure people
Yeah,
can
let
hear you.
me know in the chat.
Can you guys hear Muggsy? Or did Tori set it up
You
right?
guys hear me?
Yep.
No,
Okay.
I
They're
I
saying
think it's
yes.
good. Okay, they can hear me.
Congrats
A
to your
couple things
Raptors
I
on
just
this
wanna.
epic
Oh,
victory.
thank you, Eric. No, don't worry. I'll be very calm this show. I'll be very professional. I'll be very I'll be very calm. Just a couple things I just want to talk about on the Portland side of things that I saw. First of all, Tumani was not like knocking down crazy threes. Like at the start of the game, I'm like, we're losing. Like we're 1,000% gonna lose this game. He just pulling up in our faces. We were like, our game plan was to like, play him back a little bit, and there was so much space that they had to just like nail threes. And then like a timeout was called, and then our player Jamal Shetty's like, our game plan was to, like play them back a little bit more, right? And then like that was bad, and then we like had to tighten up our defense. So we tightened it up, and then we started playing good defense, and eventually got that win. Man, it was a great game though. It was an awesome game. I loved it.
Do you live in Toronto?
Yeah, I live right in Toronto. I go to school right next to the stadium, so it's like sometimes I try to go home quick, so I don't get like caught up in the traffic and
No.
stuff. So it's like,
Do you go to any games?
yeah, that was me. Yeah, I went to a game 3 years ago against the Pacers. I just um haven't had the time to go to a game, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah, but Denny was playing pretty bad at the start, eh? Was he like 1 for 6?
Yeah, it was something like that. He wasn't hitting. Everyone else was though. But man,
Yeah, everyone else
yeah,
was.
if you haven't watched the Blazers enough, that wasn't going to continue. Everyone who watches the Blazers knew that was not sustainable. So
Denny's so good at playmaking, man. Like 14 assists is ridiculous.
yeah,
Like that guy genuinely after last year's All-Star break, that guy turned it up a notch, man. Now he's just continuing this type of play like onto this new season, which is sick.
yeah.
Just happy for him. I can't lie. Because
He
he go.
had some moves tonight where I was like, whoa, where like
Yeah,
the defender thought he was going one way and he like dribbled back the other way a couple times. He doesn't usually do that. He usually just like picks it away and goes. But or like occasionally he'll be going one way and go behind his back. But he had a couple moves that were like he just like completely lost the defender in like 1 second and then was gone. And then unfortunately the first half he missed a couple of those. People were saying he's a worse foul merchant than SGA when we played the
come
Thunder
on,
the
bro.
other day.
That's a
But
skill. That's a skill.
yeah, but I did feel like today he was man, he should have probably got to the line a few more times than 15.
Oh, more. Do you know one thing? Like one thing I noticed about your guys' like play style is like something that you guys are probably missing. I may be wrong, so you can correct me because I don't watch you guys that much. But when I was watching you guys, I feel like if like Klingon starts to become more of like a playmaker at the like be like the hub of the off offense kind of to get these scores like in the right spots, kind of like how Jakob Pertl like runs our offense kind of sometimes when we don't really have a primary playmaker on the floor. Like sometimes Brandon Ingram comes off like off ball screens wraps around, and Jakob's at like the top of the three, like finding guys to pass the ball to. And I think if like Donovan Clingan can do that, that'll be sick. Like he
He
could
did
become
it.
more of like a hub.
What's up, Muvs? He literally did it in college in the most complex college
Okay,
offense at UConn, and we just don't utilize
he
him
can do
like
it
Well,
that.
more.
he did have that one. So I think it was to Chris Murray for a dunk. Someone went backdoor and he had that nice
Yeah, it was Chris
backdoor
Murray. It was a good cut,
cut.
good pass. What drives me crazy though is like he made some advanced reads in UConn's offense, and we never have him make any advanced reads.
No.
Our offense is simpler than UConn's, much simpler than UConn's, and we don't put him in spots to like make reads when he proved that he could, and this could be something that we're developing in him, and that would be a real asset to our offense with all these athletes and big wings that can score, finish strong around the rim, especially somebody like Shaden could thrive off this. And it's literally just, all right, if you see a back door cutter, make that pass, otherwise go hand the ball off.
Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of plays where Shaden was just like, he didn't let like the play start. He would just grab the ball, sprint, or like get too shot happy and stuff. He did have a good game, but it was still like he could get so many better looks if he just runs through someone else. Like I don't know.
That's the problem though, is we get stagnant in the half court and we try and play fast.
Not creative.
So a lot of that is just like trying to play fast, and we're not good at playing fast. I mean, we had 10 fast break points today.
Yeah.
We're not an effective fast break team, but we like to act like we are, and it just doesn't translate.
The team doesn't look like as like their record isn't as bad, but they don't look as bad as their record, if you know what I mean. Like,
well,
the Blazers are close in a lot of it. Just
they're maybe the worst team in the league when Denny Avdia is off the floor. I don't know what the exact numbers are. It's probably not that bad, but there's so many games. Like you look at tonight, and let me put Eric in his own window here. He was a plus 11 in 37 minutes, which means in the 11 minutes Denny Avdia didn't play, the Blazers got outscored by 14 points.
Oh,
yeah. Just find a way to not get eviscerated in those minutes, and you're winning some of these basketball games, because there's so many close losses or single-digit losses where the Blazers outscore the other team when Denny Avdia is on the floor because he's playing like a superstar. And some of it's the injuries, so they lose these other minutes, and that's kind of the frustrating thing right now is they look pretty good when he's on the floor, and then they look horrible when he's off the floor, and that just speaks to the end of the roster sucks. You got a bunch of defensive guys that don't play defense and can't shoot.
I like Sissoko though. I don't know. Do you look good?
I don't like Sissoko.
You look decent.
He's fine as like a 15th guy, but not as your starting point guard or whatever he's doing right now.
Yeah.
He's fine as your 15th guy if you have enough shooting. But I do want to get into the defense, but Muvsy, I'll let you.
Yeah, I'm in the car anyways. I have to go back home.
Yeah,
just have to join up.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I'm not kicking you off the stream or nothing. After this, I do want to get into. I just like broke down a lot of the defensive possessions in the second half, and I got some thoughts. So, but shout out to your Raptors. Shout out to your Raptors, man. They're looking really, really good. 15-7.
Canada.
You were high on them, and I gave you crap before the season because I didn't believe it.
I'm sorry.
I don't think they'll keep playing this well. Has your schedule been easy?
Yeah. It's been easy. I'll give you that. I'm a biased guy, but I'm not that biased to the point where I think we're peaking right now. But I think if we I don't know, we can make some moves here and make this team better a little bit. A lot of players that are getting paid a lot and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys.
Appreciate it, Mubs.
All right, guys. Have a great night, man.
Hey, thanks for your help on the channel, by the way.
Oh, all good, man. See you, brother. Bye.
Okay.
My God, man. My God. Check out Mubsy Hoops on YouTube. Well, shout out for his channel. Met him through YouTube. But anyway, thank you for calling in. We got 2 people trying to call in. Let me spend like 10, 12 minutes talking about some stuff here because I do have a lot to say, and I am now finally making my appearance on this post-game show. So I'm getting to the point where I don't believe in Thiago Splitter tactically. I still feel like it's too early to really judge him as a coach in terms of like the system that he's running, because that was put in place before he became head coach. But there is some in-game stuff that he clearly decides to do that is questionable. One is the rotations and not properly mixing and matching lineups. Today, going small with City Sissoko. City Sissoko doesn't space the floor any more than Donovan Clingan. What does he provide that Donovan Clingan doesn't?
Well, especially if we're gonna run zone.
Well, that's another point on the Thiago thing is all the freaking zone that it does not perform well. I mean, we gotta stop running so much zone. If we're supposed to be a defensive-minded team with defensive-minded players, we gotta start playing actual defense instead of running freaking zone in the NBA. I think that's ridiculous. And Toronto had some success against it.
Did you listen to the stream at all while you're in there?
No.
Oh, okay. I had a huge rant about that.
Yeah.
I said the exact thing.
See, this is how you know me and Eric don't script things to agree with each other. You're already one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the league. You're already one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the league, and it's harder to defensive rebound out of a zone. And why would you run a zone if you go small? You're supposed to be more mobile. Like, it's just stupidity. It's just, like, I am really starting to question Thiago because there's just some basic basketball stuff, like, that he just doesn't have. And one of them's, like, City Sissoko doesn't provide you with anything that Donovan Clingan doesn't do just as well, if not better, other than, like, handle the ball. But you don't need him to handle the ball. You got Shane Sharp and Jeremy Grant and Denny Avdia. You don't need his ball handling. It's not helping you win games like this. So that's baffling. But the zone, man. Why do we keep going zone? Zone to me is like, ooh, we're going to get creative and we're going to switch it up without any more thought behind it. Because it's not like it's been effective, and we'll do it against really good shooting teams, and we'll do it when we can't defensive rebound. We already suck at defensive rebounding. Zone's hard to defensive rebound against, and then we'll take out our 7-2 center who can actually rebound. You know, it just doesn't really add up to me, and there's a lot of stuff with Thiago that's starting to really not add up to me. So yeah, I support the rant that you gave about the freaking zone. You know, it wasn't a... Let me look at the team stats here. They had 10 offensive rebounds, so it wasn't as big of a problem tonight, but...
Well, they had 9 in the first half.
Yeah. But the biggest issue with the defense is they foul too much, and they give up too many defensive boards. That's the two biggest things with the defense. But the other thing I want to talk about is I think it's time to start being harder on a few guys for their defense. And I'm not saying Tamani Kamara, I've already been, like, a little critical of him. But, like, we kind of know what the deal is with him. Shaedon Sharpe has to start spacing the floor if he's not going to be a good defensive player. I feel like we set the bar so low for him coming into the year because he already was a pretty bad defender, and there was a lot of plays where his effort was questionable. And then finally at the start of the year, he didn't have many questionable effort plays, and we're applauding it, saying like, oh, he's giving good effort now. That's all we need from Sharp. Like, he's not giving up on plays. Looking back at that is such a low freaking bar. That's too low of a bar. Like, oh, he tried. He's trying on 80% of possession. It's not like he's a higher effort, he's above average effort player or anything like that defensively. But we're sitting there because he's not having plays where, like, a guy drives and then he just puts his hands down and watches the guy score, and we're sitting there applauding that at the start of the season. I mean, I think, and it's funny me saying this, but I think maybe we should be a little harder on him for his defense because he's scoring the ball, and he scored the ball in this one. He's 9 for 18 from the field, but he's 0 for 3 from 3. He's not a floor spacer. He doesn't make it easier on anybody on this team offensively. He scores, but he doesn't set up other players at a high rate. He did have 3 assists today. That's above average for him. And he takes a ton of shots, right? So he's not really somebody that play makes for others and makes the game easier for others, makes others better. And he's not somebody that makes it easier for others by spacing the floor. He scores when he has the ball, but it's like, okay, outside of the dribble drive stuff, what are you providing? The defense... he got blown by twice in the fourth quarter in this game, just on, like, one was just a basic crossover that he got completely shook on. It resulted in a lob in the paint. And then one was Jamal Shed turning downhill. And this whole team gives up way too much dribble penetration. But, like, Shaedon Sharpe, I know he's supposed to maybe be the worst defender in the lineup, but it's like, I want to see him help his team outside of just scoring the ball inside the arc. I don't know how you feel about that, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's not just a Shea problem. I feel like everyone's getting beat
Well,
off
I'm
the
getting to
dribble,
other people.
and then
I'm going to get to other people.
this is also what happens when you don't have any sort of rim protection in the game in the fourth quarter either. And so the one guy who was actually saving this team from, well, actually two, because Robbo did a nice job protecting the rim tonight too. The two guys who are actually saving this team from looking completely terrible on defense. Neither of them were in for that stretch run where they could have maybe deterred one of those drives. And so,
there are other players I'm ready to criticize. Okay, so Sharp is just one of the players. I feel like we shouldn't deflect it to other players because he's not. He needs to do a little bit more. He either needs to space the floor, or playmaker for others at a little higher rate, or play better defense. Like, those three things are just not impressive to me with his game at all, and hasn't developed like I've wanted it to. He's great scoring inside the arc, athletic, like 23 points today, 9 for 18. So he had a good game inside the arc. He was 9 for 15 inside the arc. Got to the line 6 times, made 5 of those free throws. That stuff's great. I just want to see another facet to his game. One of those three, like, just give me one of those three things. One of those three things. Because yeah, it's I just want to see more out of him. But moving on. I'm getting close to the point where I want to say Chris Murray's not a good defensive player. I'm really getting to that point. He gets blown by a little bit too much. He's not a great point of attack defender. He does some decent team defense things sometimes, but like, he's an okay defensive player. I just, who does he contain off the dribble at a good rate? Like, I feel like he doesn't contain dribble penetration well enough. And this is a problem across the team, but it's like when we start looking at, okay, we have a bunch of good defensive players right now and we're not playing good defense. I think at some point you have to wonder, okay, maybe these guys aren't as good defensively as they're hyped up to be. And I'm kind of getting there with Chris Murray a little bit. The play where Ingram dunked on Klingon was a perfect example of, like, Chris Murray just looked like he was in quicksand and got blown by easily off the dribble, and then we're asking Donovan Klingon to save our defense. That's a perfect example of, like, a lot of our defensive problems is we give up too much dribble penetration, and then we ask for Donovan Klingon to save things at the rim.
yeah, I don't know if I haven't noticed Murray as much. I mean, obviously he got blown by a couple times tonight, but I haven't noticed it as much as some of the other people.
Yeah, but well, I think that's kind of my point, is like, he doesn't make a ton of really bad mistakes to notice it, but is he actually a good defensive player? Or is he just like okay and doesn't make a ton of mistakes and gets beat off the dribble once in a while and makes a good play once in a while, but on average he's just an okay defensive player?
I think at times this season I actually have been impressed with him staying in front of someone that should be much faster than him, but is not great. But
there's a comment from Thomas Aransky, I think, talking about Sharp, saying he's a few months older than the Scoop, missed most of his second year, let him improve. Bro, it's year 4. He's declined every season from behind the 3-point line. Like, the defense, the only thing that's really improved is like, oh, he doesn't give completely inconsistent effort now. And the playmaking stuff might have been better in year 2 than it is in year 4. So it's like, has he improved at those things between year 2 and year 4? He's improved with his dribble drive game, finishing at the rim mid-range percentage, and that's why he's a more effective scorer than he was, year 1, year 2. I've seen the improvement that I need to see out of those areas. But the playmaking, the defense, the 3-point shot, it's year 4. Like, we could sit here and say he's 22 years old. All right, he should be improving from 20 to 22. Instead, his 3-point percentage is taking a step down each season, and then this year it's taken 3 steps down. So I don't really understand that. And then Chris, I mean, it's a 3rd straight year where he's shooting mid-20s from 3. Like, is he much different than he was his rookie year?
Not shooting.
Yeah, I just, I don't know. Like, if a guy's going to shoot that poorly and not be much of a playmaker, Eric, I want him to be a noticeably good defender where he can slow down guys on the perimeter more than Chris Murray does.
So, did you see this B-ball index post earlier?
B-ball index?
Yeah, it was like from this morning.
No, I don't really pay attention to B-ball index.
Okay, so they had this chart that the graph had going up and down was half court shot making, and going left to right was half court shot quality. The Blazers are 6th best in half court shot quality. Okay.
So my question, is it a quality shot if a bad shooter shoots an open 3?
This doesn't take into account who's shooting. It's just the quality of shots they're generating.
Okay.
They are the 6th best in the NBA in generating good shots. Do you know what they are in half court shot making?
Probably bottom 5.
They are 28th.
Yeah.
So
but we need Blake Wesley, Eric.
So
we need Blake Wesley will help with that, right?
There's 2 things I think of when I see this. The first is maybe this offense is better than we thought. But there's no way to show that because we don't have any shooter on this team. So like how are they going to prove that?
Yeah.
But that leads me to my next point. How did Joe Cronin go a whole offseason? Like every single person knew this could be a problem, and it just was not addressed outside of for the 2026-2027 season when Dame comes back, maybe. But like this to me is like just screaming, okay, we are awesome. Basically, Denny is awesome at creating shots for people, right? Get him someone who can actually make those shots, and we could be pretty freaking good, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, shoot. If he improves a little bit after this season and gets some shooting around him, could he be a 25, 10, and 10 guy? Like, could he average a triple-double? That's maybe being a little optimistic, but, you know, we've seen some high rebounding games. And look at tonight. They make some threes, and he has 14 assists. The last 3 games, he's averaging a 30-point triple-double. So, I mean, I'm being a little hyperbolic. I don't think he could average a 25-point triple-double. But he creates great 3-point shots all the time, and it's from guys that can't make them.
Here's the thing, though. So Elizabeth Allen says generating good shots can't be determined like that. That's like saying one of us is on the team and we take all the shots because the defense lets us. They're good shots. That's why the shots are great and open, because the defense chooses not to defend the shooters. Okay, so yes, that can be correct. Okay, so let me ask you this, Tori. How packed is the paint when Denny drives?
Oh, man.
Because of that?
Man.
It's pretty packed, right?
Yeah, it's very packed.
Okay, so you're telling me if we have better shooters, they're going to be out on those shooters so they won't get open shots? Okay, great.
Yep.
Then we have Denny driving into less coverage,
Yep.
and he's going to score 45 points a game.
Yep.
Like, okay, you have to pick your poison.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, okay, great. Then Denny's going to get more layups and more opportunities. He's going to get way more easier shots. And Scoot, hopefully, when he comes back, too. So, okay, great. Good. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So the shot quality might go down in terms of not getting these open threes, but they're not going to be able to guard Denny the same way if we have shooters. So either he's going to have an easier time driving, or they're going to get these open shots still, and it's going to be better shooters. And so I don't see how that's negative.
Also, it'll give more space for Klingon to play in the dunker spot if his guy helps. Those dump-off passes, it's going to be harder for defense to make that second rotation and collapse down on him because they're worried about shooters at the three-point arc.
I think Denny's slowly getting better at throwing lobs. He had a couple, one to Robwell tonight. He had one to Shea on a transition. He is, I think that's something that can be pursued a little bit more too.
Yeah. Yeah. So 1,000%. 1,000%. I mean, it's crazy that like the one guy at the end of our roster that's like the scorer that Joe Cronin went out and got, that people tried to tell me he's better than Scoot because of Summer League and highlights, is maybe the most inefficient shot chucker in the league. And he's shooting 25% from three, Eric. And 30% from the field. I know he's a two-way guy, but dude. Oh, I forgot you were on this page. Let me open up a different tab.
He got his 6 shots up in 12 minutes tonight.
Do you want to hop in collab cam so I can like use my other monitor without messing up the camera?
Sure.
All right. And then I can make fun of you for getting collab cammed, which is my favorite thing. Favorite thing to do. I'd rather have Sharp with the ball and Denny as a shooter. What? All right. Here we go. Okay. Where were we? If I take too long on the stream for Alex Wolf to call in, I promise, Alex, I'll let you call in on just a random show. All right? That's my promise to you. I gotta get through some of this stuff. Where were we?
I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, just the shooting. I mean, I don't want to sit here and talk in circles about the shooting like I did last stream for 30 minutes. It's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Like, you have a guy that's a walking paint touch and generates all these shots on the 3-point line for guys that can't shoot. And it's something that we knew was going to be a problem. And Joe Cronin didn't address it. Even though they were trying to be competitive this year. It's a failure on his part. And I know the cronies won't like to hear that because they want to worship everything he does or does not do and want to worship the ground that he walks upon. But he failed this offseason to address maybe the biggest need when there was a coaching staff coming in running an offense that needs shooting to work properly. In his acquisitions, I mean, they had Sidney Sissoko at the end of last year, but like Sidney Sissoko, Caleb Love, we're talking about 25% three-point shooters. Young Hansen, a guy who was 27% last year, not ready to play. Drew Holiday, but you traded your best shooter for him? Like, he's not a shooting upgrade over Anthony Simons. Joe, at this point, like, I don't think he knows how to fill out the end of a roster.
Well, he knows how to fill them out with defensive guys that can't play defense, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing for me is like Sidney Sissoko, Chris Murray, Ryan Repair, they're not good enough defensively to justify how bad they are offensively. Like, they are literally not NBA players to me. Sidney Sissoko struggles to get through screens. Big, strong body. It's tough for him to get through screens, but he's played at a guard spot. So he's guarding guys that handle the ball and run pick and roll. but he's too small to really defend bigs. And he does not make a high enough percentage of threes. He was 1 for 4 again today. He's a 25%er. And yeah, we're talking about guys on two ways, but dude, you can find shooters on two ways. Like, you know this is an issue. You know your entire roster can't shoot. You bring in Blake Wesley who can't shoot. You have shooting holes in your top 15 guys, and then you have these couple of two ways. Like, why don't you just go out and get a couple guys that can knock down threes even if they can't do anything else? That's better than what we have with some of these guys. Like, the refusal to even address it with two-way signings. You went out and got Javonte Cook on a two-way as well. Like, just go find somebody that can shoot. There's always guys that can shoot. It's not hard to find a shooter. So it's just the refusal across the board in the bottom half of the lineup and the two ways to address the shooting need at all, to the point where you have all this defense, but your last signing of the offseason is a 6'3" guard that can't shoot. He's like Steph Curry if Steph Curry was trying to hit the front of the rim every time he shot the ball. So it's a legitimate issue, and it's a failure on Joe Cronin's part. It's a legitimate failure on his part. Because if this team had better shooting, I think they'd have a couple more wins right now, even with the injuries. Because you have a dude that's playing like a superstar, and you're not doing enough to help him. So it pisses me off because it's such a simple thing to freaking address.
I forgot what team this was with, but Tyler Smith just signed a two-way with somebody yesterday or today. Yeah, I mean, he's been a free agent this whole year. It's very small sample size, but he was known as a big man who could shoot threes and coming to that draft.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like I said, small sample size, but he shot 43.3% last year.
How many games? How many attempts was that?
I mean, it was a very small amount of attempts, but he was a guy.
Yeah, he's just been a 29.7% three-point shooter his G League career on 145 attempts. So it hasn't been particularly pretty in the G League, and I feel like that's why he got cut. Why Milwaukee cut him?
Yeah,
because the shooting wasn't really there. Let me look up G League 3-point percentage leaders.
It was 30 attempts last year.
Yeah.
13 of 30.
Let's see if I can look at 3-point percentage leaders in the G League. It's not sortable. All right. I love that.
All right. So I see a lot of people talking about, like, oh, maybe Cronin's tanking this year, or we signed Dame thinking a year from now, not this year. Bull crap. Yes, signing Dame was for next year, and that's a luxury to have. But this team thought they were going to be better this year. Now, there's still a lot of time to improve. There's still a lot of things that can happen. But they had this whole offseason about, this is even before they signed Dame, about how they're a playing team and they're gonna do that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I don't buy that for a second. I think that's just trying to give Cronin a way out. You're telling me they traded a 26-year-old Anthony Simons for a 35-year-old Drew Holiday when they didn't want to win, when they wanted to take this season? So they traded for a 35-year-old Drew Holiday? I mean, come on. They kept it rolling as much as they could last season until it was obvious they weren't going to make the play-in. They didn't start taking it on March 1st like they did in previous seasons. They did start taking eventually, but once it was clear they weren't in the play-in. Like, we got to stop trying to give Cronin this way out. Also, if that's the plan to tank this year, I mean, he failed at that too then. Because we're in the play-in mix still. Like, you have Denny Avdia playing like a superstar. So you're basically telling me you had an offseason to try and make sure they stayed in the middle. And they've had tough injury luck. They're still, 10th seed or 11th seed or whatever they are right now. I think they're still the 10th seed. So Don't give them that easy way out. They weren't trying to tank this year. Tristan says, Cronin did get Reith. Splitter plays repair instead. Okay, let's look at Duop Reith's career stats. Duop Reith before this season had a 3-point percentage of about 35%. So an average shooter who sucks defensively as a big man, who's horrible defensively as a big man. And he says 6'9" center. Like,
it's gotten to the point, if he doesn't make like a 3-pointer a minute, he's unplayable because he's so bad everywhere else. He doesn't help their rebounding. He doesn't help their defense. And yes, he's had a couple games where he's come in and hit a couple threes, like the first OKC game where we won. But outside of him doing something like that when he comes into the game, he's unplayable. And then we have Jan Hansen, who's also unplayable. So
well, my point
I don't blame Thiago for that.
My point is, if you're going to get a 3-point specialist that becomes unplayable if they're not shooting the 3-ball really well because of all these other deficiencies, get a 3-point specialist that's better than a 35% 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can go find somebody that can shoot 40% from 3. They're like littered across the G League. And yeah, they have other issues. But like, if anything's decently translatable, it's the ability to shoot the freaking ball.
Maybe their whole plan was to sign Malik Beasley, and then he got busted. And
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and then their coach got busted. Gambling is just ruining the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let me go back to the box score. But like Chris Murray, he's not good enough defensively for his other deficiencies. If he could shoot a decent 3-ball and was just like solid in everything, okay, great. But what's he shooting on the season? He made a 3 today. He was 1 for 3 from 3 today, 33%. Let's go. Like, the bar's just been raised so low in terms of percentage. He was 28.9% before today. Could he be above 30%? I don't know. But yeah, it's the Caleb Love stuff is ridiculous. Everybody wanted to victory lap me when he had 26 points, which I was super excited for. I was at that game, but he's exactly what I told people he was. But people wanted to call me a hater because I didn't think he was better than Scoot. Because of Summer League and highlights. Guess what? His highlight tape this season already goes pretty damn hard. And if that's not a lesson, like, for some of you that try to gas him up, then I don't know what will be. He's every game he's good for like 2 for 6 and 1 for 5 from 3. In 12 minutes, he was a minus 14. Nobody else was worse than a minus 9. Ryan Repair in 6 minutes was a minus 9. I guess that's worse because it's half the minutes. But, like, get somebody that can just space the floor, knock down a couple threes, that doesn't come in and shoot one shot every 2 minutes at 30% from the field and 25% from 3. Like, what's the point? I'd rather have Thiago Splitter out there himself at times than Caleb Love. I mean, what are we doing?
What's Alec Burks doing right now?
That's a good question. Yeah, like, we should have Alec Burks instead of Ryan Repair. That's a good name. There you go. That's a guy that can shoot.
I was looking at a list of like current free agents.
Yeah. He moves like he's old as hell, but he can shoot. And it's better than Ryan Repair, who moves like a deer.
Shot over 42% last year on over 4 attempts a game.
Yep, good vet. But no. We don't have enough defense. We don't have enough defensive guys that can't shoot. Eric, Blake Wesley. Oh, he played 6 games and played super hard and played super fast. Now he's a fan favorite. Now he gets hurt. Oh, man. Our issues would just be, they'd be solved if we didn't have Blake Wesley get hurt. Anyway, I'm being very sarcastic and snarky in this stream, but I'm some of the narratives I'm just tired of. At least the narratives that we had going into the season and the excuse and that sort of stuff. Ryan Repair, 6 minutes, no points. No boards, no assists, no steals, no blocks. He did shoot a 3, though. Guess what? He missed it. And he was a -9. Oh, and he got a foul. He fouled somebody. Was that a better game than Caleb Love? Although Caleb Love had an above-average game. He shot 33% from the field. Oh, and then Chris Murray in his 26 minutes, 5 points. Didn't get a board. Didn't get an assist. He did make it 3, 1 for 3 from 3, 33% throw parade. And got a couple steals and a block. So 5 points. He got a couple steals and a block in 26 minutes while not spacing the floor. Having bad defensive moments as well at times. Let Klingon get put on a poster because he just let Brandon Ingram drive right by him.
Doesn't matter. We're about to get Giannis because he unfollowed all the Bucks on Instagram.
Let's go, man. Like, if we're going to have a player that can't shoot threes, it should be Giannis. I agree. And people were worried about, like, his fit with Denny. They would, like, I'm not worried about his fit with Denny. Denny can actually shoot and play off Giannis and attack closeouts. And then if you have enough shooting out there, Giannis can play in the dunker spot off Denny. Hopefully Klingon can shoot so Klingon can step out, you know what I mean? Or, I mean, even if Klingon's in the dunker spot, our offense with the cutting off the ball when Denny drives, imagine if that's Giannis. Because Giannis has somebody next to him to take the pressure off of him and Dame. Because in the past, it was only Dame and a bunch of crap around him. I'm cool with that. You would just get shooters around Giannis and Denny and Dame in that world.
If it cost you Denny, do you not trade for Giannis?
No.
Yeah. Okay. You'd rather have Denny.
It should not cost us Denny.
I'm just saying if it did.
No.
If you had to
Then
choose
Giannis
between Denny and Giannis. Okay.
I say no because it shouldn't cost us Denny.
I know, but okay. They have another trade lined up to another team. They call you and say, we're making this trade with the Knicks to where Giannis wants to go unless you give us Denny. Yes or no?
Are you saying Denny straight up for him?
Well, obviously you'd have to match salary because he makes a crap load of money.
And they're not going to trade Giannis to us without wanting their picks back. So again, the hypothetical of him or Denny, like obviously he's a better player. Obviously I take him, but in any realistic scenario, like there's no trade that makes sense.
It would have to be the picks
Denny.
too, yeah.
Yeah. And it shouldn't. You're trading for Giannis. Like you have enough young players, you have their picks, you have future upside, and you want to be as good as possible. So it doesn't make sense to trade for Giannis and trade Denny. If that makes sense. That's why I said no at first, because you're basically then put in a position where you're kind of just rerunning what the Bucks did. But Dame's older and off an Achilles tear. Giannis is shooting 43% from 3 this year.
Yeah, he is.
1.4 attempts per game. That's amazing. I mean, he fits our archetype. The last 4 years, he shot between 22 and 29% from 3.
Mm-hmm. Might as well get all the non-shooters.
Yeah. Yeah. Might as well get Anthony Davis, too. Would they have the ammo to keep Denny and trade for Giannis and Anthony Davis?
I don't know. Do you see what Dallas is asking for you?
Yeah. Anyway,
The Kevin Durant package at minimum.
yeah, right. I mean, that package wasn't even that great anyway, but
No, I know. I'm just saying.
although Dylan Brooks turned into an all-star or something, I don't know what's going on there, but here's the thing though that's going to happen is like, do you expect Joe Cronin to effectively address the shooting need at the trade deadline if this team's in play-in territory? They want to go for it.
No, that's the problem.
I would expect him to stand pat and sit there and say, "Oh, Blake Wesley just came back. He's our trade deadline acquisition."
Does he even know it's a problem?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense, man. It does not make sense to me. It does not make sense to me. I'm tired of this archetype, Eric. I'm just flat out sick and tired of this archetype of guy. They certainly have a type, and the type sucks. Ryan repair experiment is over. Okay. He has not improved at all in 3 years. Chris Murray, should not be playing rotation minutes for an NBA team. I get it, the injuries, but on a good night, he's just chewing up minutes without screwing anything up, which I guess is fine to have at the end of your roster, but when you can't shoot as a team, having that guy be also a guy that can't shoot is kind of dumb. But going to the bigger point of our defense, one thing I feel like we haven't talked about, our transition defense is pretty damn bad.
I talked about that too.
Yeah. We're just not disciplined. There's so many defensive possessions where it's just like, what the ball gets swung, and Chris Murray was kind of wasn't fully ready off ball. This is one of the plays that annoyed me where it's like, dude, ball gets swung to his guy one pass away, and he was already pretty close to get a good contest on the three, and the guy just throws in a lazy pump fake, and he jumps off his feet past him and gives him a free lane to the rim. And it's just come on, man. You're supposed to be the smart defender that's just solid and fundamental. You're not supposed to be one pass away. You're already close to your guy. The ball gets swung to him. You're right there. And then he just throws a pump fake and you're jumping out of your shoes at that. He's the last guy that's supposed to be doing that. He's supposed to be just the solid mental guy. But no, he's jumping at that. There was a play where Robert Williams was running with Sandro Mamukelashvili in transition and then was kind of staring at the ball and completely lost track of him. And that was the dunk that Mamu got in transition. Just not disciplined. You're just staring at the ball and not staying with the guy you're running with in transition, which is your actual matchup. It wasn't even a cross match. You have Shaden Sharp getting crossed, not being able to contain dribble penetration. I mean, that's more of that's not really a boneheaded thing. That's just a lack of a defensive ability thing that he just needs to find a way to improve. Shout out to Jakob, who gifted a Blazers Uprise membership, which went to Bry the Kid. Congratulations to Bry. Thank you, Jakob. Appreciate you, brother.
He also had a donation too.
Oh, I'll thank the dono too. And then I'll get back to my tangent. Shout out to Jakob with a 100 Norwegian krone donation. Thank you, Jakob, for the Norway money. I appreciate it. Says, hi guys, another tough one. Can't believe Thiago didn't sub and Klingon to Rob at the end when Jakob came on. Got out coached. Good to see some form from two again, at least, I guess. Yeah, it's nice that Tumani, you can tell he's shooting the ball confidently now, and the last 2 games has been phenomenal. So he's breaking out of his slump, which is great. Great. Really, really good to see. But he's already a 30%er, he shouldn't get that 3-point percentage too high. Just kidding. Good to see him break out. Good to see him shoot confidently. Thank you, Jakob, for the donation.
And there was also a member message that we missed.
Shout out to Tristan's member message.
Yeah.
I read it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Croner did get Wreath. Spiller plays repair instead. That's when we started talking about Wreath. Yeah. All good. Definitely want to make sure we catch everything. But there's just so many undisciplined mistakes in transition where we're just losing track of guys or not communicating, not picking up ball fast enough. Number one, you stop ball. Number two, this kind of goes hand in hand, but you don't let anybody cut wide open to the rim. There's a play where Denny fell down and they were coming in transition and nobody picked up Jakob Poeltl running right to the rim. Like, you go with him and leave a shooter open. Right? Because you're not able to rotate to him. If nobody guards him, he's getting a dunk, which is what happened, right? If you guard him and leave somebody open on the perimeter, then maybe you can rotate and Denny trailing the play can take the guy up top. Worst case scenario, you give up a wide open three. I'd rather give up an open three than a wide open dunk from their big man. So that was kind of a ridiculous defensive transition possession. They don't particularly get through screens well, but their scheme is not to help on screens, so that's going to be what it's going to be. Just too much biting at pump fakes, too much biting on crossovers, too much overplaying. This team needs to be better fundamentally and better in transition. Their transition defense is declining. Their transition defense has been an issue. But other teams, you see, they'll get the board and they'll have somebody leaking up the sideline and they'll hit a hit-ahead pass and get an easy bucket. Portland doesn't do that even though they want to play fast. Portland doesn't leak out like that. And even though they don't leak out like that, Eric, they still can't defensive rebound. Anyway. It's frustrating because, like, a lot of the issues are just kind of silly to me, and this team's still competitive because they have somebody playing like a superstar. So I know people will sit there and be like, you guys are so mad they played a really good Toronto team that's 15-7 on the road, and they're injured, and they only lost by 3. That's for the box score watchers. I see this dude playing like a superstar, Denny playing like a superstar, Tamani breaking out of his slump. You have some good pieces, and you have a bunch of dead weight at the end of the roster that can't shoot, and you make some silly defensive mistakes. And then down the stretch, you don't play your center. You play City Sissoko, who doesn't do anything better than your center, really, and you give up some buckets on the interior. And then you play crappy zone. Like, there's just so much stuff to get cleaned up. And they'd be winning games. So.
I wonder how our defense would look with Roy Rogers still here.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to wonder how our defense would look if Chauncey was still here. Scoot Dame, Drew, Blake, Teese will help getting back. Drew is the only guy that will help with the shooting and the defense. Teese will probably help the defense, and if he can shoot a hot 3-ball, might be another guy that can help in both areas, but he only stands so wide open threes, and defenses don't really respect him as a shooter. And if we're talking about being more fundamental defensively, like, he's kind of the opposite. He's just pure chaos. And it works out sometimes, but sometimes it bites him in the ass.
Maybe you're forgetting what Trevin said last stream.
What did Trevin say last stream? I ignore a lot
He's
of
100% on running on 3-pointers on the off the dribble or something.
That's why I would ignore what Trevin said. 1 3-pointer, Trev. Anyway. I'm tired of losing basketball games, bro. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of the end of this roster. I'm tired of watching a bunch of guys on this team play basketball. Like, it gets frustrating. So, it's getting to me. Anyway, let's do Tankathon.
Why does the bottom ticker say Toronto lost to New York tonight?
Oh, I didn't update it. You just now caught it? Nice.
I just saw it. Yeah.
Damn, Mosey made these for me before the stream too. I literally downloaded them and forgot to put them in. I was in a rush. There you go. Here's the proper bottom ticker.
There we go.
One day this will be coded and show games while they're
I've
live.
been saying that for like 3 years.
Well, when it's hard to get in contact with your coder. Eric Olson's gonna help me code now. So shout out to Eric. Shout out to the other Eric.
Oh, that is who. Man, I freaking hate. A Niddler is Eric Olson. I just.
Yeah, I hate the. Can you?
You've been Eric Olson this whole time.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. I'm Googling. Is there a way to fix this? The recent change to handles is part of YouTube's efforts to combat impersonators.
Nice.
While there are extensions available that can visibly remove the handles, they do not restore the original usernames. Just give us the option. Like, we don't have a problem with impersonators. Give us the...
Anymore.
We weeded them all out. What was all that effort for? Weeding out all the impersonators. Like, just give us a toggle where we can change it on a whim. It's not hard. You're Google. You're ran by Google.
Every person who watches the show just needs to change their email address to their previous username.
Their handle. Yeah. Nah. I just gotta learn the handles, I guess. It's dumb. Alright, Tankathon time. Let's do this thing. Can the Clippers please win a freaking game, man? I'm really scared. Wait, I need to do Tankathon on the Google Meeting tab. Hello? I don't even have that tab open. What's up with that? Okay, hold on. I hate Streamlabs sometimes, man. This is ridiculous. Let me freaking do a window capture. Alright, we're just gonna have to do a display capture, I guess. That's fine. Because I'm not gonna miss out on my Tankathon after another loss. Is that good enough? I don't know. I'll make it a little bigger. All right. Portland is in sole possession of 10th place. They are only half a game away from the Utah Jazz. And only 1.5 games away from the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay, so you're currently sitting at 5, 9, and 14.
Yeah. This is really gross. Clippers need to start winning some games, especially if we're going to tank. here's your guys' sim. 14 is OKC, 13 is Chicago, 12 is Memphis, 11 is Milwaukee, and 10 is the OKC Thunder. Your Portland Trailblazers have moved up into the top 4.
And we moved OKC down 1.
Yeah, we're so back.
They only get 10 and 14 and 5 now.
10,
6.
14, and 1, you mean?
No, because we're getting 1.
I bet you if either of these teams get 1, it's them. Charlotte is at 9. I don't know who moved up. Sacramento's at 8. And OKC via the Clippers is number 7. Shout out to my Jinx.
Nice.
Shout out.
Screw them. 7, 10, and 14.
Yeah.
That's sad that that's the best case scenario. Man.
Oh, man. 6 is Brooklyn. 5 is Washington. All right, top 4 time. Can we not be 4? 4 is your Portland Trailblazers. Would you trade 4 for 7, 10, and 14?
I don't know.
Oh, I'd do that in a freaking heartbeat. Because OKC roster spots, like,
Yeah.
you know. I'd trade 4 for 7, 10.
Yeah, probably in this draft.
3 is Dallas. 2 is Atlanta via New Orleans. And 1 is Indiana.
Then I would trade like 14 just to get our pick back so we don't have to worry about that anymore.
I don't know if I would not do that. I would not do that. Bro, like, give me Kareem Lopez. Give me a 10. Well, maybe we can take Kareem Lopez at 10. So, like, at 7, take... I mean, we like guys that shoot in the 20s, so take Yusufu. Who would you take at 7? Because none of these 3 guys address our shooting need.
If the top 6 went that way.
Chris Jr. He's more of a center to me, though.
What's Fleming shooting? Oh, we don't need a guard, but
Fleming's? I think he's shooting well. 52%. So
there you
twice
go.
as good as half our roster.
He's a guard. I mean, we have 3. If we have 3 picks, I think I'm taking him right now.
At 7.
Yeah, why not? We'll still get good players. You still get your boy at 10 or 14.
I'd rather take off Dallas at 7.
What if you get him at 10?
Then we get him at 10. I would want a combination of Kareem Lopez off Dallas and maybe off Dallas is at 14. I don't know. But Kareem Lopez off Dallas and then, like, best player available. Because Kareem Lopez and off Dallas are both guys that can handle the ball a little bit, can pass, and have size to play the 4, but could also theoretically play multiple positions. But also they can shoot. Off Dallas being down at 20 is a crime. Eric got collab cams. Shout out to you if you remember off Dallas being my guy last year, my deep sleeper. That was a projected undrafted player, and I was like, he's pretty damn good. Now should be a lottery pick.
Yoxel can shoot too and guard multiple positions and pass.
Can't handle the ball or shot create the same way. Andy's 23. He's good, though. He's good. I feel like Abdallas has star upside and, like, solid role player floor. I like his upside, though. Same thing with Lopez. Those are my Those are two guys I really like. And I do like Hauk. Although he's not shooting the three ball well, but he's going to be a really good role player. I don't know if I like him in the lottery, but I've liked Hauk for a while. It's fun having like
What's
Art
Isaiah
guys.
Evans shooting this year?
Isaiah Evans.
Sturts has played awesome too.
Yeah, Isaiah Evans 35%, 90%
That's
for the
fine.
free throw line.
Yeah. I haven't watched enough Duke yet, other than Cam Boozer highlights.
If we made a splash trade where we like thinned the backcourt, Bennett Sturts would be perfect for us.
Yeah.
Like that dude's a sniper and can handle the ball. I don't know like his shot creation at the next level just because he's not particularly explosive and.
Well, he's one of the best pick and roll ball handlers, like scorers, creators, but he does need to pick usually.
Yeah. But I mean, seeing what Con Knippel's doing right now, Con Knippel's just bigger.
Yeah.
But like he's not a particularly explosive player, but he plays off his shot and can drive because of it. So, but I mean, with the backcourt situation the way it is, it's just we need shooters at a forward position. That's why I like Lopez. That's why I like Avdalis. Dame Sar shooting 36%. We could have two guys named Dame.
And we need to get Sar too, Alex.
Yeah, finally get a Sar. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this will change a ton. It's still very early, but I would definitely trade. Although, if I trusted Caleb Wilson as a 3-point shooter, I would love him on this team. I mean, I love him on this team regardless. It's just 4 or trading down for 7, 10, and 14. Interesting debate, but because you probably wouldn't be playing all three of those guys next year. But I do like 3 shots, and 3 shots in the lottery is insane, Eric. In this draft, like I feel like you're almost guaranteed to end up with at least a fringe star if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you can just take chances on. You could take a chance on Yusefu, who is very boomer bust to me.
Who's an immobile drop big that they will fall in love with. They'll take for the 3rd straight year.
Let me look up NBA draft room because that has a second. You know who I just thought about? Graham Ike.
Okay.
He won't get drafted.
Yeah.
They're not that crazy. Let's look at it here. So, NBA draft room. Oh God, Henry Vasar is definitely their type.
Yeah.
He does everything. He can even step out and knock down a 3.
Maybe like worst brothers too, right?
Oh, wait. No, a Mara.
There we go.
Has to be at least 7'2". Has to have theoretical shooting ability, but not actual shooting ability. And, oh, look right here. Might struggle to guard at the NBA level and isn't a switchable big. There you go.
Yeah.
That's Portland's type right there.
That's the guy.
Would it shock you if the Blazers... Well, I mean, doing it 3 years in a row would just be completely insane. But, like, the Blazers trade down from 12 to, like, 17 and then take a day, Mara. I'd freak out. And then people would watch his highlights and see, like, the passing highlights from before he went to college when he was playing overseas. And
I mean, he's been better this year
he's
than...
been better. But people would definitely convince themselves that he is the next Jokic. Or the next Embiid. Because we already have the next Jokic.
Man, Michigan's tough.
God, dude. Yeah,
They're
they're gonna win.
freaking good.
They're gonna win it all. They're gonna win it all. Like Gonzaga was destroying everybody, including they beat Alabama pretty handily, and then they lose by 40 to Michigan. I mean, Gonzaga played their worst game of the year, and Michigan played really well, but just their front court's insane. My guy, man. Mario's so fun. Yeah, Ade Mara. Get ready for him in a Blazer uniform. It's funny because I joked about like Caleb Love last year and then it happened, so maybe I should be careful.
You got your guy Guath down there.
Yeah. He's how's he doing this year?
Has he been playing? I haven't watched San Diego State. He didn't transfer, right?
No,
He
he's
stayed?
still there with Miles Bird. He's played in 4 games. He's shooting 60% from 3. He shot 55% from 3 last year. For his career, he's 55.8% from 3 in 30 games, shooting 4 point. Oh no, I'm looking at 2-point percentage. Damn. Okay, this makes more sense. He's shooting 67% from 3 this year. For his career, he's shooting 41% from 3 in 30 games on 1.7 attempts per game. Is like a mobile 7-footer. That also can play some defense. Needs to get stronger. For his career in 24 minutes, averaging 2.5 blocks per game. Maybe, and mobile and switchable. I don't know, man. I don't understand why he's like at the bottom of second round boards. I don't get it. A mobile 7-footer that can knock down threes and protect the rim and like switch out on the perimeter. He's just like the type of guy. I mean, the strength could be a legitimate issue, but if you can bulk him up, he's a center that can play in any defensive scheme and knock down threes and like maybe put the ball on the floor a little bit. But that's just a bonus. I don't know. I'd take that chance in a second round easily. If not, he could maybe be a 7-foot power forward that can knock down threes and like mobile and weak side rim protector. So sounds like Duop Reith. Nah, Duop Reith is not 7 feet tall, and Duop Reith does not play defense, and Duop Reith does not shoot 40% from 3. So. Tori, you do need to watch your mouth, LO. You also mentioned Chris before we drafted him.
I mean, that was like the most obvious pick.
Young Hansen, when Eric said, oh, this pick got spoiled, this pick is out of left field, Young Hansen was my second guess. I forget who my first guess was.
But that was knowing it was left field.
Yeah, but I mean, I could have chose any second round pick.
Yeah.
Who was my first guess? I forget. Don't remember. Yeah, but right now, if we're at 10, I'm taking Kareem Lopez or Alf-Dallas. I'm not thinking twice about that. Whichever one's on the board. I'm getting so confident in my scouting, I kind of want to sit here and just be like, Neoklis Alf-Dallas is going to be an NBA star. I won't remember saying this in 5 years, and neither will you, but... Yeah, I... Also, that archetype, man, like... Seeing Yegor so far this season, like, he just seems like he's going to be a pretty damn good NBA player. I feel like when you're 6'8", 6'9" with passing feel, able to handle the ball a little bit, and have like 3-level scoring potential, that's a pretty good bet to take. That's the archetype they need to draft. like good shooter though. I mean, you know who?
Somebody can make a freaking shot.
Yeah, you know who fit that archetype, but like the shot was questionable. Was Jalen Johnson. Mobile, moved well, 6'9", could handle the ball, some passing feel, athletic. Questionable shot, which is why he fell. But like, okay, you can turn him into a shooter. Bet on those traits. Instead of 6'7", doesn't move well, questionable shooter, old. Always guys guess who I'm talking about. Anyway, all right. Alex, I'll let you call in if you're still watching. I'll let you call in on a future show. We got Jesse in chat. What's up, Jesse? I recognize that handle. I just remember going crazy for Coward and then coming back down to earth after. Yeah. I ranted about it last stream and had people in the Discord saying they need to stop talking so much about Coward. I wish we could talk a lot about Coward on our basketball team. Tunde Yusufu is Thabo Cephalos's son? Like, you mean they're similar? Or
I think it's like his actual son.
really? I don't think so. Yeah, no. No. If he's anybody's son, he reminds me of Anthony Edwards with like the like accessories and the way he moves and the way he drives. And I think he wears number 5. Is a Baylor prospect just a good bet at this point? Keontae George playing great this year. VJ Edgecombe looks really good.
I mean, Edgecombe's been struggling to shoot pretty bad. His percentages, his splits look pretty bad now. But
yeah,
I mean,
but
it's still promising. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like rookie.
But
efficiency struggles. I mean, he's 41% from the field and 36% from 3.
Jacoby Walter
yeah,
looked okay tonight, but
he's been solid. He's shooting 42% from 3. He's just not playing a ton. But he's shooting 42% from 3 right now. Tori, did you see Tyson's career night? Oh, did I? Oh, did I? Yeah. What was his stat line? Like 27, 11, and 4? Yep. What's Jalen Tyson averaging? Jalen Tyson, in 17 games, shooting 5 threes a game. Do you know what he's shooting in terms of his three-point percentage, Eric?
87%.
Close. 48%. 48%.
Is that good?
Yeah. That's I know you're used to numbers, in the 20s, but 48 is actually kind of like where you want to be.
Double our shooters.
Yeah. Yeah, 12 points, 5 boards in 26 minutes a game. The passing isn't really there, but per 36, he's averaging 2.7 stocks, 1.7 steals a block. Like, his defense isn't the greatest, but yeah, he's already a good role player. Good pick at 20. Every time I watch Baylor Shireman play, he's taking the dumbest shots possible. That was a guy that Eric hated, and I didn't understand it, and he has been bad. He has been pretty damn bad. So you nailed that one. Our scouting is good, man. Our scouting is really good. It's getting to the point where I feel like I can just go off vibes. Maybe I'm getting a little too overconfident. Maybe this is the year I come back down to earth. But if you guys have been paying attention, yeah. But I mean, if you guys have been paying attention to our scouting the last 2-3 years, I mean, you guys know like we've had a pretty good little run here. Dame's cousin Blevins is live on Twitch. Maybe go in his chat and ask if he wants to join a Blazers Uprise stream. Yeah, just don't have him watch the Kelvin Blevins player review from like 3 years ago.
Maybe he wouldn't think it's sarcastic.
If you guys don't know, I did a player review series like 3 years ago, and Blevins, I basically just trolled the whole video talking about how great he was. Did Antetokounmpo of Bucks request a trade? Just saw a social media post, but I don't know if it's true. The social media post from the blonde girl that makes up reports. What's her name?
That was fake. I don't know.
That's fake
but
as hell.
He did unfollow and delete a bunch of Bucks stuff on his Instagram. But
what would be your best offer for Giannis right now?
I mean, best offer or what would I offer?
Is that not the same?
Well, like I said earlier, I think if we gave up Denny, we could get him easily. But
I would not give up Denny with the assets it would take to get him. Like, what's your best? Like, I wouldn't offer Denny in a trade to him. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's Grant's. I mean, Grant has to be in there for so. I tried to make it work with, like all our middle salary.
Yeah. Here, I'm putting a trade machine up on the.
What's Giannis at? What number do I have to get to?
Here, I'm pulling up the.
I mean, I think you give the Bucks their 2 swaps and their first back, or the best of those 3, I guess.
Yeah.
And probably the 2028 Orlando pick. And then
Can my thing not freeze? Hello? Okay.
I don't know if you can find a third team to take Grant or not, but we're not trading Drew back to the Bucks. If we're trading for Giannis, we'd definitely be keeping Drew, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
would you give up both Scoot and Sharp?
I mean, would I? Yeah, probably. Scoot, Sharp, and does Scoot, Sharp, and Grant get there? Do you have to include Thibault too?
Giannis is making 54. Scoot's making 11.
So you know,
Sharp, Scoot and incoming 62 million. That's not 62 mil. That's 50 mil. Where's the other incoming salary? What?
Maybe is that a trade kicker or something?
Who has a trade kicker? Jeremy's 32. Scoots should make it like 43. Okay, and then Sharp. Oh, it's Poison Pill. That's right. Okay.
Oh yeah, Sharp.
So we'd be putting the tax. So yeah, we need to include Thibault. First Thibault, there he is. And then they would need to include
Can we get Derry Bird?
who?
AJ Green.
Where's his contract? Recently signed. It's not Poison Pill. I'm not a big fan of his contract, and also it's like doesn't really work for this. Like I think we'd have to take back Kevin Porter Jr., which I just want to cut his ass. Because this doesn't put them into the tax, right? This is calculating tax base. Yeah, okay. Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay. So they're not in the tax. We're not in the tax. This should work. Okay, Kevin Porter Jr. can't be traded until December 15th. This is the only reason it says this doesn't work. I think from a player package, this is kind of what I'd expect. Maybe they are interested in Young Hansen. The picks.
Bye.
Yeah. Since so many other teams were supposedly interested in him. The picks, 2028. Milwaukee.
Dude, we need a shooter. Just to take KPJ off, include Young, and get AJ Green.
Yeah, but it doesn't match for them. Yeah, it doesn't match for them. I mean, you could like throw in like Torian Prince, probably. Let's see, Torian Prince, AJ Green. Let's throw in like Thanasis. Oh, we have to take back Thanasis. That's right.
Yeah.
Only way this works. Young's making 4.4 mil, so I guess throw us like Gary Harris, and we're still not in the tax, and none of these guys can be. AJ Green can't be traded because 6 months have not passed since he was signed to an extension. He'll be eligible to be traded after April 17th, 2026. So.
Never mind.
That's the reason Joe Cronin can't get a shooter.
He's waiting for.
Can we like get this done with Gary Trent Jr. for the vibes? Yeah. Okay. After December 15th. All right. Like this is probably the player package. Giannis, Thanasis, and Gary Trent Jr. for Jeremy Scoot, Shaden, and Thibault, and then give up 2028 pick, which is the best of Portland and Milwaukee. I think I already have that going to them. The 2029 best of Portland, Boston, or Milwaukee isn't on here. I think I already traded that to them. We have the worst, so we have a pick that year. We'll trade them 2030, and I'd flip them the Orlando 2028. We'd have a pick in 2027 and 2029, so we're not violating the Stepien rule. So they just don't have the picks right. That's why it says it doesn't work there. It would actually work. So Jeremy, Thibault, Scoot, Sharp. 2028 Orlando first, 2028 best of Portland and Milwaukee, so they're picked back. 2029 best of Portland, Boston, Milwaukee, so they're picked back. 2030 best of Portland and Milwaukee, so their pick goes back 3 years in a row. We get Giannis,
Well, just
Junior Thanasis.
In 28 and 30, it just the swaps go back to them, so we just lose swap rights. We don't actually lose a pick those years.
Well, we can format it as that. Well, there's two ways to format it because they have the worst between our picks. So we can either give them the best, so they have the best and the worst, basically have both of our picks, or we can revoke the swap rights where we still have our pick, but they have theirs.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they would just want the picks like straight up, or they'd have both of our picks because they're going to want multiple picks. Right, so let's just say, we're trading the 2028 Orlando first, the 2029 best of Portland, Milwaukee, Boston, 2028 and 2030. Like they keep their pick and get our pick, right? Would you do this trade, chat? I'll do a chat poll. Would you do this trade, Eric?
Yeah, I think you have to.
Do you think there's a chance that Milwaukee would do this trade?
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good package. I think it's a pretty damn good package. I do think we would get to have fun if Giannis actually there's trade rumors. I actually think it'd be a realistic enough possibility for us to discuss it, which we've never been in that position discussing a star like that before. It always feels like a pipe dream. Where this, given that we have their own picks and we're positioned for a trade like this, yeah,
I agree.
Trash bro, we end up with Denny, Klingon, Drew, Giannis, and Chris.
I mean, you could.
We have Gary Trent Jr. I would play him over Chris. It would be Drew.
I mean,
Gary.
Trent sucks this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's
but
play him over Chris. But
yeah,
not a contender, dude. You can fill out the rest
we
of the
still
roster.
make other moves. Yeah,
You can still make other moves, bro. Not a contender. Hell no. I don't want Giannis because we don't have a sixth man shooter. Come on, bro. Be for real. Sign Malik Beasley. Yeah, he's playing with Giannis. There you go. Hope he gets his investigation ended. Sign your shooter. But you can make other moves. You still have Robert Williams off the bench behind Klingon. Right? With what? You have Robert Williams' salary. You're not trading for another high salary player there. And the thing is, the biggest thing they need is just a couple of shooters. Those are cheap. Go get Keon Ellis and trade one of the picks you have left over for him off the bench. Because you traded 2 guards. Right? There you go. Dame, when he comes back. Drew, Keon Ellis is your 3 guards. But you'd start Keon Ellis in that lineup, and he fits in. Good shooter, good defender. Right? If you're good enough, maybe you're in the market for buyouts, but it's mostly with an eye on next season. You still have your pick this year if you don't make the playoffs. I mean, I assume we make the playoffs at that point. But then you have your pick in 2027. Yeah, you should not be nitpicking, worrying about the 6th and 7th man on the roster when you're trading for a top 3 player in the world. You can figure out the rest later. You'd literally be sitting there with one of the best big 3s in the league next year. You'd have Giannis, Dame, and Denny. And you'd have Klingon to protect the rim. You'd have Gary Trent Jr. off the bench, Rob Will off the bench. Yeah, the bench would need a little bit of work, but come on. Fan favorite, right? Blake Wesley off the bench. Yeah, give me that. I mean, we haven't even had Scoot. Sharp struggles to stay healthy. Can't shoot the 3 ball. You can replace some of this easily. I absolutely do this trade in a heartbeat. Abso-freaking-lutely. Because next season you have a starting 5 of Dame, Drew Holiday, Denny Avdia, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Donovan Klingon. That's a contender.
It's pretty good. Plus whatever other moves you made.
Swap Tenny for Scoot and Shea. Yeah. What? What? That's ridiculous. Why wouldn't you want to be a contender? You're worried about this trade where the Blazers are not contenders, but then you'd want to trade a guy who's playing like a top 20 player in the world for two young guards that struggle to stay healthy and have some question marks about him. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. You figure out a way to fill out the depth. You can find decent, cheap backup centers so you can use Rob Williams' salary. Like, you gotta be trolling. Oh, we still have Tumani. We still have Tumani. What are we doing? Yeah, you made me forget that we still have Tumani after this trade. What do you mean we'd have Chris? Your starting lineup for the rest of the season would literally be Drew Holiday, Tamati Kamara, Denny Avdia, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Donovan Clingan. And then next year you'd have Tumani off the bench. He says, oh crap. Yeah, we still have Tumani, bro. Like, I was going to say, it feels like that's a little lighter. Next year you'd have Tumani off the bench. You'd have Robert Williams off the bench.
You'd have whatever free agents and minimum contract guys you could talk into coming here.
Yeah, like, you would probably have room for a full mid-level exception, I think. So go sign a full mid-level exception guy to be your sixth man. Maybe make a trade for a Keon Ellis type. I don't know. Yeah, that bench is fine. That bench is absolutely fine. Yeah. Like, if Giannis becomes available, Portland needs to be at the front, ready to trade for him. Yeah, maybe he wants to go to a true contender, but I think we would be a contender with them. And you have Drew, you have Dame, guys he's played with. He loved playing with Drew Holiday. Shoot, I know he's super washed, but you need a ninth man. When Chris Middleton gets bought out this year, there you go. Another Giannis teammate. He's 6'7" and still shooting 35% from three. Still averaging 10 points, 4 boards, 3.5 assists. Like, good little bench piece. Find ways. So, that's like, with Tom Dundon coming in, that's Joe Cronin's opportunity to be like, I'm that guy. I made the best player acquisition in Blazers history. We already play OKC pretty decently this year. Like, you're going to have to really go for it to be OKC, and I feel like you're going to have to get physical, big, downhill drivers. I feel like that's a good archetype to have against their defense. Because they do play kind of small. And then you want somebody to take the top off the defense. You got Dame coming back. It's so easier to make moves off Scoot and Shea and trade Denny, in my opinion, safer pick. Yeah, but they're worse. So the moves you're making with Scoot and Shea is just to try and get to the point where you're as good as if they just kept Denny. Denny and Dame both creators with Giannis and Drew. Denny can shoot. Dame can shoot. We're running an offense. The thing is, with that lineup, Eric, this offense becomes very interesting all of a sudden. Drive, kick, have a bunch of guys that can drive, and you have Dame, Drew, Denny that can all shoot off of Giannis.
Yep.
Yeah. But, like, that's the thing is this team is 8-13. This team is playing all these worthless NBA players. Like, I'd rather be sitting here, like, trying to round out the edges. Like, okay, we have a top 3 player in the world. We have our greatest player in franchise history coming back. We have Drew freaking Holiday. We have Denny Avdia, who's playing like a superstar. How do we make the synergy work? By the way, Eric, you're frozen. I don't know why. I'm going to disconnect and then reconnect you. You're going to have to join through the link again. I'm just trying to unfreeze Yeah, like figuring out the synergy between those guys, I think, is a much better issue, like, to be worried about. To make moves, you need assets, bro. They'd still have multiple picks of their own. Why are you so worried? They would literally have a top three
Plus,
starting lineup. You'd have next year. You'd have Tumani off the bench or Robert Williams. That's a really good 6th and 7th man.
if they made the playoffs too, their pick would go to Chicago, which would free up some of our future picks.
Yeah, but like if we traded both 2028 first in the trade that I suggested, like we'd still have our 2032.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're worrying about how do we have moves after getting Giannis to make sure we have a good 8th and 9th man. Dude, sign Chris Middleton off a buyout. Sign guys off a buyout. You're talking about 8th, 9th man. Go trade a couple seconds for somebody that's an okay 9th man. Trust me, that is not something to worry about. Yeah, I don't like clinging with that lineup. Why don't you like clinging with that lineup? You got all these creators, and you don't want a 7'2" big that sets good screens for them, rolls hard, and is a good option in the dunker spot. And also maybe someday might be able to shoot threes. According to rumors, Giannis wants to go to the Knicks badly. Well, guess what? There's a lot of players that want to go to a lot of teams, and they don't always get traded to those teams, and it still works out.
I mean, he might be able to force his way somewhere, but because he could just say he's not going to re-sign with whatever team if he doesn't want to. But
he has 3 years left on his contract. I'm taking the chance. I'm taking the chance. And we have Drew and we have Dame. It's also why I like the idea of signing Chris Middleton on a buyout in that scenario, assuming he can get spot out by the Wizards, because that's another one of his former teammates he really liked. Yeah. And we have their picks. Like, New York doesn't have any picks. What's New York going to trade? They're going to trade Cat? Mark Cardell says Klingon clogs the paint for Giannis. Brother. Having a big in the dunker spot does not clog the paint. You don't need a shooting big for that big to not clog the paint. When Giannis drives, if he beats his defender and Klingon's guy comes across the paint, Giannis is a good enough passer, just dump off past to Klingon, he's 7'2", that's a dunk. You're putting that defender in a position to pick their poison. So, anyway, real quick, shout out to Sleeper. Use code Uprise. You'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100 and a free $20 deposit. I need to get back to making picks, Sleeper picks. So, getting kind of back on track here. You were looking down for so long, I thought you were frozen. Still getting back on track here, coming back off the vacation and all that good stuff. But, yeah, make sure to check out Sleeper. Support the channel. Place a little parlay. Free $20, no deposit required parlay. Literally no downside. I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of that. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the channel. Bring in Brook Lopez. Ugh. Anyway. I don't think Klingon would hold back that lineup from being a top 5 offense. I think Klingon would give that lineup a chance to be a top 5 defense. Maybe it'd be tough with Dame, and then I don't know. Some people think Giannis is overrated defensively, but top 5 offense, hopefully a top 10 defense. That's a contender. That's the recipe. It's a recipe. Go get Giannis. Like, stop overthinking it. If he's available, the Blazers should be very aggressive in trying to trade for him. I would not feel this way if they didn't get back Dame. And maybe you can make the argument, oh, well, you just went through a rebuild just to get back on Dame's timeline. No, you'd be on Giannis's timeline. Giannis and Denny timeline. How old is Giannis? 31?
Something like that.
He's 30. Tori, how was the Sacramento arena? I liked it better than Chase Center. I really liked their arena. I liked that the concourse was completely open to the stadium. It was pretty cool, actually. And like the neon signs and all that. If Portland gets a new stadium, I like the idea of like an open concourse. I think that's kind of a cool concept. David Chavez, I did. It's kind of wild. Blazers basketball is developing players to be good enough to trade been that way for years. I mean, the Blazers have never traded for a player of Giannis's caliber. Who's the best player the Portland Trail Blazers have ever traded for, Eric?
And probably Scottie Pippen, but he was a little older at that time.
Yeah. Was he still a all-star caliber player at that time?
Yeah, I think so.
His last year in Houston, well, I mean, he was a great defender, so the stats don't do him justice, but he was 14 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. So, yeah, he'd taken a little step back.
I think he was in his mid-30s by that point. But
Yeah, he was 34. Yeah, we're talking about a guy, trading for a guy who's averaging 31 points per game, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. Like,
bum.
he would instantly be in conversations for greatest Blazer, most talented player to ever put on a Blazer uniform. And we're sitting here like, oh, but the synergy with Klingon and then the 8th and 9th, but what are we doing, man? What are we doing, man? Do you know how freaking hyped that stream would be? I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
It would just be weird.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how New York trades for him unless they trade like a Cat McHale package where those guys go to other teams. But really, how good is that package going to be? They don't have future picks. So, yeah, you might want to go to New York, but didn't Donovan Mitchell want to go to New York? And he went to freaking Cleveland, and that stuck. Could absolutely make Portland work. He has 3 years left on his contract. So there's really no excuse not to be super aggressive and try to get him. You have their picks. If Dame brought you the picks to then help bring Giannis to Portland.
And New Orleans
coming full circle.
New Orleans might have been able to match us with 2 more recent picks, but they ended up trading the best of their 2. So they can't even trade Milwaukee their pick back so they can tank this year.
Yeah.
But they could have had a intriguing package around Zion and their picks back, but
you also know
so
what's
they could
funny
tank
though is this season Milwaukee can tank. You want to know why?
Why?
New Orleans is the worst team in the league. They have the number 1 pick right now. Milwaukee gets the worst between their pick and New Orleans' pick. So Milwaukee could theoretically tank all the way up to 2.
Although it's same lottery odds, so.
Yeah, but I mean, one of those picks probably falls out of the top 4, but they still get the 5th pick. Like, Milwaukee could purposefully lose and end up with a pick as high as 2, which would be very improbable, but I mean, shoot, I'll simulate Tankathon until we get Milwaukee moving up and the New Orleans pick to Atlanta moving up, just to illustrate it here. If Tankathon would cooperate with me, yeah, here you go. In this sim, Milwaukee got the 4th pick, and OKC got the 1st pick. This is an absurd lottery, but like. With how bad New Orleans pick is, they could tank. If New Orleans was like the best team in the league, it'd make no sense for Milwaukee to tank because they get the worst pick. But since New Orleans pick is already bad, so that's kind of the interesting part about that. Since it's a swap between them and New Orleans sucks. Their swaps with us, we shouldn't suck. In 2028, they should want those picks back. 2027 thing is rough, but you're looking at a 5-year rebuild anyway. At least you have Scoot and Sharp, 2 young guards. You hope one of them can continue to blossom, and then you have picks down the line. So yeah, you make a play for Giannis if he's available. Like there's literally no debate about it. Now who knows if he'll become available, but if he does, I've never sat here and like been like pounded the drum like go get this guy, figure out a way, be super aggressive. I don't know if there's ever been a player that I've pounded the drum like that for. But I started pounding this drum started last offseason. So I started pounding the drum. Ooh, is there a way you can get Dame and Giannis back? No, I was thinking trading for Dame, but we got Dame back somehow. So that's crazy. We got Drew, who's maybe his favorite teammate ever. And we got their picks. And we got a logjam of guards now and 2 good young guards. It just feels like everything aligns for it. So that should be the plan. And I hope that Tom Dunn coming in, Cronin feels pressure to really make a splash like that. Now that could backfire if it's like, oh, I need to make a splash. Here's Lauri Markkanen for an insane package because Danny Ainge wants to fleece people. But anyway, maybe that should be my next video. Portland Trailblazers need to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Anyway, fun stream. Anything else, Eric?
No, thanks everyone for watching. Hope to see y'all tomorrow night after the Blazers beat the Cavs.
Oh yeah,
the second night of a back-to-back. 4 o'clock game.
Gross. I don't like the 4 o'clock games. Does it feel like we're getting a lot of our Eastern Conference road games out of the way pretty early?
We are, for sure.
Yeah. I guess that's a good thing. So, upcoming schedule for your Portland Fail Blazers. Cleveland on Wednesday. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific. Friday is Detroit, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. And then Sunday is Memphis, 3 p.m. Pacific. And then 4 days after that, on Thursday, December 11th, they play New Orleans at 5 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be forever until we get a 7 p.m. game again. Luckily, a lot of home games second half of December, so looking forward to that. Easier schedule. But, yeah, your Blazers have lost 8 out of 10. They've lost 10 out of 13. They're 3-10 their last 13 games. It's not a good team. Yeah, you have some injuries, but, man, you've lost a lot of games you probably should have won. I mean, you lost to Dallas. You lost to Phoenix at home by 17. You lost to Chicago off a awful buzzer beater. You lost to San Antonio missing Wemby. They played pretty well without Wemby, but you lose by 3 to Toronto. You just lose. So, even if they're a losing team, and Giannis becomes available, they should make a play for him. Maybe they include their pick this year. Probably would have to be unprotected. That's a different conversation that we're not going to have right now because that gets a little iffy because this draft is loaded. But anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll see you again tomorrow night after the Blazers take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Blazers lose to the Raptors, 121-118. They fall again, 8-13 on the season, but still clinging on to that 10th and final play-in spot, a half game up ahead of the Utah Jazz. Would it be funny if the Jazz made the play-in before us? Anyway, we're out of here. We'll talk to you next time. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!